I was the loudest voice consistently against the Me Too movement, it can happen to you.
Yep.
It can happen to me,
You got
right?
stabbed in prison
you just
too.
decide a narrative and get everyone against you.
Just
and it's
decide
not
that
based
narrative.
on fact at all. It's always wrong to say that I'm going to believe your allegations because I'm with her. If you just want to give white women the right to say something happened and you have to believe them with no evidence, no proof, and they get $1 million, then let's talk about the civil rights era, because that's when black people were hung from trees because of that.
That's right.
Right? That's when Carolyn Bryant said about Emmett Till.
That's right.
He said something to me in a grocery with no evidence, no proof. You know what happened to Emmett Till?
Right.
And it's jarring to me that people
I
don't
wrote
see
that.
that. Like I just said, had a vivid dream this weekend, and Charlie came to me and he told me that he was betrayed. I just know. I have a feeling of a sense of dread. I feel as though I don't know, but I know. You know? We just know. I don't know, but I know. And I didn't feel it then in 2018, but I feel it now.
Oh, she feels it now.
I
miss old Candace.
I was just feeling like I was just asking questions. I was just asking questions. That's all I'm doing. Can the Me Too crowd just ask questions? One thing that would, I think, blow my mind if we actually just started basing all our journalism on biblical justice. Yeah. And that would change everything. That would change everything.
You're asking too much, Gabe.
Hey, y'all, welcome to CrossPolitic. Good to be with you on the Fight Laugh Feast Network. Pastor Toby, Chuck Knox, I'm the Water Boy, and it's Advent season.
No, this is like, it's like turkey, Advent, Christmas.
Mashed potatoes.
All in one.
Is that how you feel?
That's how
you know?
If you know,
I don't know. But if you know, then you would know what I meant. On October 27th, you guys know what happened on October 27th?
Candace changed.
Did the Jews do something?
No. Just weeks after Charlie Kirk's assassination, it's Candace. She comes out and starts suggesting that the murder of Charlie Kirk was some kind of broader deep state conspiracy and cover-up that included President Trump, TPUSA insiders, international actors. She's got an
So that started on October 27th? She started doing this?
Yeah.
I thought it was before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Charlie died. He was murdered in September.
It's 3 months.
September 27th.
Okay.
Yeah.
I said October.
It's like
Yeah,
3
you
months
did.
she's
Okay.
been doing this.
September 27th.
Okay, we're on the same page now.
I wish it was that short, but it's been 3
She should have
months.
thought a lot longer about it. But
Yeah.
September 27th, just
She
weeks.
should have waited till October
Just weeks
27th,
after,
okay.
September 10th when he was assassinated.
Yeah.
She's got this alleged text messages of where Charlie says that they're going to kill me.
Yeah.
Then maybe losing significant donors because his friendship with Tucker Carlson, Israeli donors, Jewish donors, claims about Egyptian military aircraft.
Yes.
You heard about this?
Yeah.
Did you hear about the bees?
I don't. Oh, come on, Gabe.
The beehive? The
Oh,
honey? No. Okay. All right.
Anyways,
Never
links
mind.
to the French, Israelis. Owen's podcast has amassed millions of views just in the last couple of months, and a bunch of Christians are watching this.
Yeah.
A bunch of Christians are watching her and listening to her, and this show we want to ask, what should Christians make of all this?
Yeah.
What
should Christian journalism look like?
Yeah, is this Christian journalism? And she's doing this in the name of Christ. I mean, she claims to be a Christian.
Yeah,
She's doing
right.
this for Christians. She
Right.
cares. She says, So that's what we want to ask today. But first, every dollar you spend supports either your values or works against them. With Patriot Mobile, America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, you can make a difference without sacrificing quality. Patriot Mobile offers exceptional nationwide coverage by utilizing all 3 major U.S. networks and even allows you to add 2 numbers on different networks on one smartphone. Wow. I don't know why you wanted.
People do it.
Yeah. Go for it.
You want more communication?
You can do
really?
it. You can do it.
I want 2 different lines calling me on the same device at one time.
Stay connected with flexible, unlimited data plans, mobile hotspots, international roaming, and internet backup. Most importantly, a portion of every bill helps spread the gospel, defend the unborn, and support military and veteran heroes. Switching is actually really, really easy. Keep your number, your phone, or upgrade with a Patriot Mobile's 100% US-based team, which is Gabe's favorite thing about Patriot Mobile. It'll be activated in minutes, literally. Visit patriotmobile.com/crosspolitic or call 972-PATRIOT to get a free month of service with promo code CrossPolitic. Make the switch today. That's patriotmobile.com/crosspolitic or call 972-PATRIOT.
So if you know.
We've had so many listeners actually either tag us in a tweet or ask us questions. Christians in our community, about Candace and everything. And so, with everything that's been going on, it's amazing how the Charlie Kirk's murder has started all this conversation.
Sure.
With Candace, Tim Pool's now getting wrapped up in it, and of course you got the Nick Fuentes thing, kind of almost going parallel to this. But a lot of this conversation would apply to kind of how we think about Nick Fuentes and that kind of stuff too.
Sure.
But what should Christians be making of this Candace stuff?
I think the thing that I wanted to do is I'm going to zoom out and actually talk about biblical justice.
Okay.
Because I think that's actually what we're talking about. We're talking about our words. We're talking about podcasts. We're talking about people just asking questions. And I think we've got to zoom out and say, wait a second. We believe in free speech. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bible actually gives us principles for our speech, for guarding our words.
Yeah.
This is all grounded in the 9th commandment, you shall not bear false witness.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is that ultimately what we're talking about is protecting people, protecting human lives, because our words make and break people.
Yeah.
They make and break lives. They make and break reputations. And Candace actually in the opening montage there is talking like that. She understood in the Me Too movement, she understood that people were making careless accusations and ruining people's lives. She even brings up the Emmett Till case.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
As an example of how how our words have to be very careful, guarded.
Yeah.
So I want to walk through actually.
Could you do something before you do that?
Yes.
Could you connect biblical justice and journalism?
Yeah.
Because I think that part of it is some people can say, yeah, biblical justice, we go to court, we're going to deal with biblical justice.
Well,
but until we get there, can we at least get all the things gathered? So if we're doing journalism, there should be a difference between biblical justice and journalism, right?
Yeah, well, no. Actually, the biblical justice applies always, everywhere. Now, the issue is I would say, so there's no place you get to go where you get to say God's justice doesn't apply. Where are you going to go?
Right.
You don't get to go anywhere and say God's justice doesn't apply. You have to you have to be a truth teller everywhere.
Yeah.
You have to love the reputation of others everywhere. You have to fiercely guard the truth and hate lies everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, is there a difference between a journalist in the privacy of their own home and on their own computer making a list of a bunch of questions that they got and raising those questions on a podcast? Yes. Right? Because the more public you go with your words and with your questions,
The more careful you got to be.
the more careful you got to be.
Yeah.
Okay? So
Because you're public case building.
yeah, that's right. And so, and there's also a private case building section.
absolutely. Yes.
So, you got thoughts in your head. You better not say everything that comes into your head.
Yeah.
Right?
Or give everybody your dreams.
I learned that a long time ago.
Anyway.
Have you?
So I just wanted to make that distinction. No, he hasn't.
I'm sorry. Love you, Gabe.
But no, I'm just wondering because those are two need to connect for people.
So you want to think of this as a dimmer switch. And so I think the more public you go with your words, the higher the stakes.
Yeah,
that's basically how I would say it. And the most public being like a public courtroom, a public court case. So you've got to be, that's why we have people swear oaths. You're going to tell the
Good
truth.
under oath. Yeah.
Nothing but the truth under oath. But we're always before God.
Yeah.
And Jesus says that we're going to be judged. Every single word we utter we're going to be judged by. And so, but I would say there's a conversation you might have with you and your wife, you and your husband. There's questions you might ask privately. There's investigation you can do,
Right.
and so on. And then as you establish certain things, you can go further public. But even there, you want to do it in a guarded and careful way because lives are at stake. Reputations are at stake. I mean, again, back to Candace's own words, you can ruin people's lives by your careless words, your careless speculation, your careless accusations. So when I was first thinking about this show, I actually thought about Proverbs 26.
Okay.
Yes.
Proverbs 26 has some really helpful things to say about our words. So it starts, Proverbs 26, verse 18. It says, as a madman who casts firebrands, arrows, and death, so is the man that deceives his neighbor and says, am I not in sport? Was I not just joking? And I think you could very easily add, I was just asking questions.
Yeah. Right.
This Proverbs 26:18 says that there's a kind of madness that chucks firebrands, arrows, and death, chucks grenades, verbal grenades, and then and lies, deceives his neighbor, and then says, I was just asking questions. Right. I was just kidding, you guys. I was just kidding. It was just a joke. It goes on. Verse 19. Where no wood is, there the fire goes out. So where there is no talebearer, the strife ceases.
The talebearer was the fuel.
Yeah, as coals are to burning coals and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. And of course, that includes contentious women, right? There's a way of piling up speculations, questions, possible connections, that's just piling up fuel for contention. There's a way of doing that.
Yeah.
You're just throwing logs on the fire. More war, more contention, more division.
Yeah.
Okay? That's Proverbs 26:19, verse and 20. The words of a talebearer are like sweet morsels. They go down into the innermost parts of the belly. Why do people do this? Why do people do this? Everybody loves juicy secrets.
Right.
Everybody loves a little
Getting onto something somebody else doesn't know or gets it
scandal,
first. Yeah.
little scandal. I mean, why do those magazines actually sell? I don't know who buys them, but they're still there in the grocery aisle.
TMZ,
right?
Right.
You know, somebody committed adultery with somebody, and whatever. These from the ladies' magazines to the National Enquirer, whatever. It's like there's something about conspiracies and hidden knowledge, secret knowledge.
Right.
That's always intrigued people because there's a little Gnostic demon in everybody.
Yeah, I think Americans are built around that right now.
There's a little Gnosticism in everybody. And
COVID didn't help.
For real.
So
No. Eve. This goes back to the garden. I mean, Eve was promised secret knowledge, right?
Yeah.
If you eat of this, you'll know like God knows. It goes on. Proverbs 26 still. Burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd covered over with silver dross. It's glazed. It's got a pretty glaze on it. He that hates dissembles with his lips. So he lies with his lips and he lays up deceit within him. This is saying, first of all, notice burning lips. That's King James. What do you have, Gabe? Do you have? Is it like fervent lips or earnest lips?
He who hates disguises himself with his lips. Disguises.
Okay. Well, there's a word there for burning lips in the old King James. I think it's usually translated fervent or earnest. And I just note that. There are people who can come across as very earnest.
Right.
Like incredibly, feeling it. Like they really care about this. Okay.
I used to go to charismatic church.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But it says, but wicked hearts can have that. And they cover over their wicked hearts like glaze on a clay pot, okay? And wicked hearts are sometimes glazed over with the shine of earnestness. Just because it sounds earnest and emotional doesn't mean it's true. All this, in Proverbs 26, is related to biblical justice. And journalism and blogging and podcast don't get to ignore these biblical principles of justice.
Right.
Again, because the stakes are high. Your words are powerful.
Yeah.
And a journalist, a podcaster, a blogger doesn't get to say, I was just asking questions.
Yeah.
You don't get to say,
That's not a get out of jail card.
no, like I'm just asking. No. Okay. There are good questions.
Yeah.
And there are not helpful questions. There are questions that actually will help people get to the truth. And there are questions that are just stirring up strife and enmity, like this says. Now, I'll like really quick. I just run through basic biblical principles of justice.
Yeah.
Because this actually applies. I want to apply those to journalism as well. Okay. Fundamental principle here is a presumption of innocence.
I like that one.
Yeah. Why? Why do you like it?
Because some things you can't prove, right? Like that you can't prove you're innocent on, right? Like that's
right. And so God says we're required to treat one another and presume innocence.
Right.
We give the benefit of the doubt to our neighbor.
And it's amazing that God requires that in a fallen world.
Right. I love
We're
that.
all guilty.
Yeah. But isn't that merciful?
Yeah. That's right.
Isn't that gracious of God? So all of these principles are built on this foundation of presumption of innocence, which is simply the law of love. Do unto others as you would have them do to you.
Yeah.
How would you want to be treated?
So when you're looking
like
at
an innocent person.
when you're looking at someone that you're suspect of, you still have the presumption of innocence on them.
Yeah.
Right. Like that has to be.
You're
there.
required by God to presume the innocence of your brother or sister until the threshold that our courts use, which is actually a biblical threshold, is the beyond reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
Right.
Which means that there are no reasonable doubts against that
The facts,
assumption,
the witnesses, everything lines up.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of facts and witnesses, that's why the Bible requires due process in court cases. And we want to mimic that due process in our lives. We've talked about this before on the show, but like, I encourage parents, follow due process principles with your kids.
Yeah.
You better.
It's a great place to start.
Yeah, like
Yeah. So
no,
good.
it's not. I'm not saying you have to have your kid stand up and put his hand on the Bible and Like,
I am. Teach them. How else do they do it?
You probably would, but I would apply the principles nevertheless, which means like you're in the other room and you hear the lamp shatter.
Yeah.
And there's yells and cries, and you walk into the other room and you got 3 kids and they're all looking at you.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Well, now you need to do a judicious investigation. Yeah. What happened?
That includes asking questions.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
And this is where you could really, you ask a bad question, you're really going to cause problems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you need to find out, were there witnesses? Do the testimonies agree? You don't get just to say, look, I know y'all sinned, so you're all getting spanks.
Yeah. You don't get to do that.
You don't get to do that. It's not just. You're not practicing biblical justice. So again, it's protecting presumption of innocence, which requires an orderly presentation of evidence and testimony.
Yeah.
Beginning with the fundamental requirement that everything has to be established by 2 or 3 witnesses.
Yeah.
2 or 3 witnesses. Okay, this is Deuteronomy 19. 1 witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin. Any sin, it says. In any sin that he sins, in the mouth of 2 witnesses or at the mouth of 3 witnesses shall the matter be established. That's Deuteronomy 19:15.
In other words, it's your word versus his word.
Yeah.
That's why. You got to have additional witness.
Right. And because
you can't just say, okay, I'm going to go with you.
Because if one witness can convict someone,
Yeah.
we're in trouble.
Right.
Justice.
We're in trouble.
Yeah.
We're absolutely in trouble. It's like, and so God says, no, there's a higher threshold of that.
Because he's innocent until proven guilty.
That's right.
There has to be an abundance of evidence against him.
Otherwise, anybody could just run around and just make an accusation against someone, and then
Put him in jail.
You're guilty.
Put him in jail.
Yeah.
Which is what the Me Too movement did.
Straight to jail.
Right.
Yeah. Straight to jail.
Yeah, Me Too movement changed the whole world just off of one accusation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the Bible requires 2 or 3 witnesses, and you say, well, which one is it? Is it 2 or 3? And I would say the principle seems to be, how closely connected are the 2, and do you need a third to make sure that it's independent?
Yeah.
Sometimes, like for example, if you got a husband and wife that are the witnesses. Now, maybe they're sufficient depending on what it is, but there might be some suspicion that they're in on it
They're
together.
on the same page.
And so you need to have an independent witness. Yeah. Sometimes you have physical material evidence, which is a witness, blood sample,
Right.
that kind of thing, or video footage or whatever. But like you don't want, given how this has gone. I mean, people have been wrongfully convicted on
this kind of evidence,
on bad blood samples, or they monkeyed with the footage.
Which is why I think in that scenario where you got like a fact or a piece of evidence, I would want a human to be backing up that piece of evidence too.
And for sure you want that third witness.
Because if that piece of evidence lies, I want someone responsible for that piece of evidence lying. You see what I'm saying?
Speaking of which. That also requires the necessity of cross-examining witnesses. The Bible requires this, which incidentally has massive implications for anonymous witnesses, anonymous testimony. You can't just say I've got a source. You can't just say I have a source.
Yeah.
Right.
Can we cross-examine that source?
Yeah. Who is the source?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that earlier. What do you consider a good witness? So I get an anonymous tip. You can't consider that anonymous source a witness.
No, it's not a witness. Now, it might be a lead. So I mean, I'm not saying you
might
can
be worth chasing down.
It's not that you can't use it.
Yeah, it's just not a witness.
Because that's what I think a lot of people are doing right now, even with the Candace stuff, is they're looking and saying, hey, that's a witness to what she's saying.
So
but even then, you want to be careful also how you talk about publicly about that lead.
Right. Right. Exactly. Well, exactly. That's what I was going to say. There to whatever extent. I don't know, but I'm deeply concerned about how Candace is doing this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But to whatever extent she's getting tips, those basically probably 90% of the concerns I have is you shouldn't be taking those tips public.
Yeah.
Right.
You need to be doing your homework. It may be a lead, but you need to go confirm it. You need to get actual testimony and witness that we can actually get on the record.
Yeah.
Because here's what God says. It says this well, first of all, Proverbs 18:17 says, the one who states his case first seems right until the other comes and examines him.
Right. And I don't like the other person coming along after I stated my case.
Of course you don't.
Right.
Right. It's so neat and tidy when you state your case, right?
It sounds so good.
But there's always another side.
That's right.
And so you have to be able to cross-examine and hear from somebody else who might be able to speak to that. But if it's an anonymous source or some kind of, anonymous tip, well, you can't cross-examine that. The other reason is false witnesses actually are liable.
That's right.
Yep.
For their false testimony. And this is what it says in Deuteronomy 19 also. It says, if a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before the Lord, before the priests and the judges, which shall be in those days, and the judges shall make diligent inquisition. Okay, diligent inquiry.
Who's right? Who's wrong?
Yeah, crossing, examining both sides. And behold, if the witness be a false witness and hath testified falsely against his brother, then shall you do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. Yeah. So shalt thou put the evil away from among you.
So if you falsely accuse someone of being the murderer, and you falsely accuse, and then it comes to very clear that you actually falsely accuse him, then you're the one who should get the death penalty, not the one who you falsely accused.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So that could be even a heavy penalty there.
Absolutely.
Depending on the crime that you're falsely accusing.
Yeah, the stakes are high. The stakes are high. Now, this is in a formal court of law, but again, the principle stands, like you're required as God's people to love and protect the reputations of others. Mm-hmm. You're to love and protect the truth. Yeah. And you're to hate all lies. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, of course, in this fallen world, there are lies which journalists can sometimes chase down. Yeah. And we're going to talk about that more in a minute. But all of this is rooted in the protection of human life, protecting reputations, good names, and so on. Gut feelings are not witnesses. Yeah. Hurt feelings are not testimony.
And often murky.
Emotional speculation, fear, what might happen. These do not
dreams.
These do not justify breaking the ninth commandment and harming others.
Yeah.
That's what happened in the Me Too movement.
Yeah. So then recap that for me real quick. So it's innocent until proven guilty.
Yep.
It's cross-examination,
two or three witnesses,
due process, 2 or 3 witnesses, and then what's the last one that you
don't lie or just talking about?
Yeah, false testimony.
False testimony.
Cross-examination, and if you find that someone has lied under oath, they're liable. They're liable
for the same penalty.
For the same penalty. Yeah, yeah. And I would say, arguing by analogy, journalists who are sloppy and reckless with their words are asking for God to do to them what would have been done to those they are falsely accusing.
And this goes for us in CrossPolitic. This goes for podcasts. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One of the things you were talking about that I don't want to skip past, which is the idea that because of this, I think one of the things that was hard for me to come to terms with biblical justice was that I always wanted to make sure I nail my guy. I get that, right? Rightly so. But biblical justice also has this opportunity where it's like sometimes you might not be able to get the person that you want.
Sometimes there's a guilty person.
Yes.
And there's only one witness.
Yep. And the guy probably or likely did murder someone, and he walks away free.
No, because that's like you might even
God's
be the witness.
Biblical justice world.
Yeah,
that's how it goes.
Like you might know, because you saw it with your own eyes,
right?
And there's no other witnesses, and there's no other evidence, and you've done everything you can. And God says it would be better to live in a world where that truly guilty person gets off free.
Yeah, that's a limit we don't like.
Yeah,
like that's a limit, biblical limit.
And this is where it's important to believe in hell.
Well,
and
God's ultimate justice. God's ultimate justice.
Final judgment.
Well, not just that, but as a man socially also reap. Like there's a part of it where it's like I know you.
It'll come back around.
I know you saw your sister do this thing. Yeah. I know you believe it, and you have to trust that God is not going to let them get away with that.
Right.
And you're going to have to say, "All right, Lord, you now can exercise justice better than I can in this." Prove yourself true in your word.
You're in control.
Right, you're in control. And I've seen more times than not, especially with my own kids. Right, the one that thought they were going to get away.
No.
All of a sudden,
there's a God in heaven.
There's a God in that line right there, brother. We need to repeat that. Oh, there's a God in heaven. He's not going to be mocked.
Right, because I think that's what people want to do is they want to say, but if there's bad stuff happening, we can do whatever it takes to get them.
Yeah.
And God says no.
Yeah.
Oh.
God says there's limits.
Oh, that's brutal.
God says sometimes there's bad stuff happening and you have to wait for the truth to come out. You have to wait for the evidence to be given. And you have to be willing to say, okay, I'm pretty sure this is the case, but I don't have the evidence to prove it. And God sets limits on us as his people and says, you can't go public with that because you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking. You can't prove it.
So Toby, get to this NSAI, but I really want to ask some questions about like Candace and where she's been. I mean, she's even before she was a confessing Catholic, I feel like she handled her journalism a little more honestly than what I see now.
Okay.
Because I remember her talking about the Me Too stuff, and we played a little clip on it.
Yeah.
And all stuff. So I want to.
Okay. I'm not going to read an NSA ad, but I'm going to read a Dominion Wealth Strategies ad.
Oh.
You listen to CrossPolitic because you care about seeing Christ's lordship over every area of life, including the civil realm. But establishing righteous laws and a just society requires resources. That's where Dominion Wealth Strategists comes in. They're not just here to help you survive in a broken system. They're here to help you reform it. Dominion Wealth's mission is to equip Christians with financial strategies that align with biblical principles so that Christian wealth can be built, protected, and used in furthering God's kingdom. Budgeting, saving, debt management, insurance, legacy planning, and more, Dominion Wealth is about giving Christians the tools to take dominion seriously. The push to establish righteous laws doesn't just need voices, it actually requires money, resources, businesses, and families committed to active multi-generational faithfulness and the empowering of individuals like you to give generously from a position of security and strength. Too many people are trying to pour from an empty cup, but Dominion will ensure yours runneth over. See what you did there. Christ will reign and every knee will bow. Let's prepare for that future together and build one of the means to make it happen. Book your free consultation at www.reformed.money today.
So you remember when Candace actually first got into the game? She helped start Blexit, which now TPUSA owns. I think Charlie ended up working on some sort of
they kind of combined together for a bit.
They combined, and then she ended up eventually getting picked up by PragerU.
Yeah.
In fact, that's where she started talking about the Me Too stuff. She's, I believe, at PragerU while that was all going on down and everything. And it seemed to me
she was at Daily Wire.
She was at Daily Wire for a while and that kind of thing. But it seemed to me like, especially with the Me Too stuff, I mean, she's basically kind of parroting biblical justice now. She's commenting about it. She's like, we need facts. We need real proof.
Right.
We need witnesses, that kind of thing.
Right.
And now with this, with how she's handling the Charlie Kirk thing, Daily Wire, facts over feelings, all that stuff. But now with this, how she's handling the Charlie Kirk thing seems like she's talking so much about her feelings, so much about, I'm just asking questions.
Let's just play it again. Let's just play it again. Okay. I want to hear this again.
Yeah.
It can happen to you. Yep. It can happen to me, right? You just decide a narrative and get everyone against you, and it's not based on fact at all. That is why, I was the loudest voice consistently against the Me Too movement. Before it was popular, I got hit by conservatives and liberals when it first started trending because they were like, oh, it's rape, so we can't possibly. I was like, these are lying.
Thank you.
I know what you did. You slept with him because you wanted a job, right? You slept with him. This is like the oldest. This is prostitution. The prostitutes get a refund now. That's what Me Too was. It was prostitution refund.
I ain't gonna lie, I missed that, Candace.
Well, and this is before she's a confessing Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's underlining the fact that, look, your feelings aren't enough. Your gut's not enough. Your hurt feelings don't matter. It's like
and you're consenting with sex with your boss,
right?
Well, because you want a raise or because you want a job,
right?
And you probably didn't like it.
And she knew though that doing this poorly, the way that those ladies acted actually had implications to other people's lives.
Right. Right. And she pulls this out in the clip about with who is this? Roseanne.
Is it Roseanne?
I noticed, because I was the one who said it first, I went against the Me Too movement early, right when it came out of the gates, so I got roundly condemned by both sides, and I was like, guys, if you don't see the writing on the wall with this, it's going to become a mechanism for people witch hunt. It's going to be a mechanism for the Christine Blasey Ford types to ascertain power. I mean, and then obviously came along Christine Blasey Ford, and everyone was like,
"That's the Kavanaugh."
This was right.
Nothing happened to her either.
No, she should be in prison.
She should be in prison.
Oh wow!
She's not required to file a police report or anything. And she collected millions of dollars.
White woman privilege.
That really is, and it reminded me. I'm like, if you just want to give white women the right to say something happened, and you have to believe them with no evidence, no proof, and they get $1 million, then let's talk about the civil rights era, because that's when black people were hung from trees because of that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. That's when Carolyn Bryant said about Emmett Till.
That's right.
He said something to me in a grocery with no evidence, no proof. You know what happened to Emmett Till?
Right.
And it's jarring to me that people don't see that.
Yes, it is jarring, Candace.
Yeah.
That people don't see that. It is.
And now
Candace versus Candace.
Now she's saying, what's she saying now?
Like I just said, had a vivid dream this weekend, and Charlie came to me and he told me that he was betrayed. I just know. I have a feeling of a sense of dread. I feel as though I don't know, but I know. You know?
We just know.
I don't know, but I know. So I'm going to speculate until we get some answers. Some straight yes or no answers. from the White House, from the Elysee Palace, or from the French security forces.
I'm going to speculate until we get some answers.
She used the word witch hunt.
Right.
You know what? I mean, like, that's what she said. I mean, and she's talked
on the Roseanne.
Yeah, on the Roseanne show with PragerU.
Yeah.
She said, turns into witch hunts. She brings up the Kavanaugh hearings.
Yes.
Remember what
And she said Blasey Ford should go to jail.
Right.
And that's biblical justice.
Right.
If you're lying and you accusing Kavanaugh of rape
and you don't have evidence.
Right. And which is what she's doing right now and it's been careless too. I've watched this where she's like, I didn't actually ask that question. But she definitely insinuated that with the question she asked.
Right.
And then you hit the...
It's like the Ben Shapiro thing with Eric and Kirk.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, that was... I'll give her that one.
Yeah.
I'll give her that one. Right.
Sure.
But what I won't give her, though, is this one right here as it relates to blaming Trump and the FBI for the death of Charlie Kirk.
We just know that he was truly betrayed in one of the most egregious ways that I think I've ever seen. It has made me lose faith in politics. It has made me fully lose faith in Trump. And my heart aches for the fact that he gave so much of his life to Trump and to politics. And they just were like, nope, that is it. It serves us or it doesn't serve us, and we want to move on. And so here's a holiday. As soon as they give you a boulevard and a holiday, they definitely killed you. Okay, there's no question. They killed you. There's no way. That's like their signature thing. It's like that's what they do. It's the Fed signature.
That's not just asking questions. That's
because she
full on
loves Trump
accusations.
and they.
Yeah.
And how she said they.
Yeah.
Right after saying Trump, she said they. I mean,
I don't know how to. I mean, I'm trying to presume that she is trying not to make those two things connected. But
maybe at minimum she's just sloppy.
Right. But this is held though, and this creates a context for everything else she says.
That's right.
It's not like, oh, this is one slip. No. This creates a larger context and a larger narrative. Or I might not know who it all is inside that group yet, but they definitely did it.
Yeah.
And so you start.
And they gave him a boulevard.
Right. And that's how you know
that's
that
how
they
you know.
did.
That's how you know. That's their signature.
He was murdered.
But that's
the evidence.
And that's the evidence. Exactly.
It's like Home Alone. You remember Home Alone, where the crooks are going from house to house, robbing everything, and then he puts a rag in the sink and leaves the water running.
Because they're the wet bandits.
Yeah, they're the wet bandits.
Right.
So
it's
the boulevard.
When they get arrested, they know all the houses they robbed because they left the water running in all the houses.
I mean, that's a serious accusation.
Right. Serious.
To be able to say that right, like, and I'm willing to listen, but
they gave a boulevard.
Where's the evidence for that? And then the other thing is like, okay, so this is where, guys, I am prone to conspiracy theories.
We know.
I hope you guys know that.
That's why we're here.
So when this whole thing started with, yes, exactly why we're here. When this whole thing started with Candace, I was like, I don't need to watch this. I knew.
I might start believing it.
I know I didn't need to watch this.
I'm a weaker brother.
I know my limits. I don't feed the bears. I do not entertain them. But as I started seeing clips come out, there was just like this non sequitur attack that would happen way too often.
Right.
And I'm like, what is going on? And this was one of them. And this is talking about the Minneapolis issue and Valhalla.
Oh, boy.
Here, I'm going to read to you that email that I received. It says, "Hi, Candace. I am blank. One of the good ones, military member, one of the good ones. I think one of the keys to not overlook here is BTT's stopover in Minot, North Dakota. Why stop there at all on the 4th?
That was the
Why
Egyptian
not fly
plane.
direct to Provo?
Yeah.
Not only does Minot have an FBI office, but it also has an Air Force base. Among other tenants, that Air Force base is home to the 891st Missile Security Forces Squadron, a combined military and civilian security force that had just come off of Operation Valhalla, a training exercise in Minnesota from the 24th to the 29th of August, where the security forces practice long-range shooting practice, among other things. Remember on September 12th when Kash Patel ended his press conference with, quote, "Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, my brother. We have the watch and I'll see you in Valhalla." Yeah, very interesting thing to say. I don't believe in coincidences. That's how he ended. And yeah, it sure must be something of just a coincidence that Valhalla, which kind of struck everybody as odd, as was him going 33 hours. It was like there was a press conference that was happening for the American people, but he was signaling to other people who were like in the club to know what they needed to understand about what happened. Do you know what I mean? That's how I felt about Kash Patel's press conference and the things that he was saying.
I don't know what you mean.
Something felt weird about it. 33 hours. And of course, yes, he did say something about Valhalla. Let's take a listen to what Kash Patel said.
Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
That's
Probably just a coincidence, you guys.
Yeah.
That's a dog whistle.
I don't
Is that
even-
what? Like, that's what I went back and our producers looked at it. I think there's like he said 33 hours like once or twice in the whole thing.
Right.
But Valhalla too. I remember when I heard Valhalla and I was like, wait a second, we're Christians over here, buddy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And I remember thinking,
A lot of people pointed.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that I believe that military guys will just be like, they're supposed to be like a kind of a saying, hey, you fought well, rest well.
I'll see you in heaven.
Yes, it's a heaven for a strong military man who finished well, right?
Yeah.
You sit in church week after week, embracing the truth of God's word. You believe the gospel and claim Jesus Christ as your Lord. Yet you continue to struggle with pornography. You feel like a hypocrite, returning to the sin you hate that mocks the God you love. You desperately wonder, is lasting freedom even possible? Yes, you can overcome pornography, but not alone. 2 Timothy 2:22 says, "Now flee from youthful lusts and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace with those who call on the Lord from a pure heart. Only by repeatedly running from sin to Christ with other believers can you hope to enjoy lasting freedom. You can live with purity and integrity. Take courage, seek accountability, and do whatever is necessary. Get equipped at accountable2you.com.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be a full conspiracy theory that somehow these two are working together and he's dog. I don't even know how to make those two connect because he said Valhalla, it was a training exercise. What? I don't know how. It's a non sequitur. It doesn't connect.
And again, she's not being careful with information.
Yeah. Right.
She gets this tip. She gets this email. What should a Christian journalist do with this? Well, a Christian journalist needs to do some homework.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you actually care about this, you're a Christian journalist, look it up. Well, it turns out, first of all, it actually isn't called Operation Valhalla. It's called Operation Valhalla Strike.
Uh-huh.
And there's another Operation Valhalla with some kind of other thing that happened it was a war in the Middle East. But it was like,
yeah, that's right. It was a strike team. Yeah,
that's a detail that's already off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Secondly, the whole thing about why the plane landed in
North Dakota.
Yeah. Well, apparently, it turns out when you have international flights, you actually have to go through customs. You have to be vetted. You can't just fly into any airport.
Yeah. Right.
And that's actually a nearby military airport that actually could vet.
That has the infrastructure to vet.
Can approve. And so it's pretty normal for that to happen.
Yeah.
Anyways, she didn't do that work.
Yeah.
She just reads the sensational email online.
Yeah.
And imputes motives.
Yeah.
And is suggesting in some way that Kash Patel is in on some kind of conspiracy. Again, it's
and code words.
Yeah, you're required
numerology or whatever she's doing there with 33.
Yeah, but you're required by God to guard Kash Patel's reputation.
Yeah.
And that of the United States.
And that of the United States. You're required by God to protect those reputations unless or until you have real evidence, true testimony to the contrary. And that is not evidence or true testimony.
Yeah. This was huge, but she basically came out. I was looking for a video because I've seen so much. I think there was like 40 hours or more of Candace been going on about this.
Oh my.
And so it's easy to get some of this connected, like, oh, this is actually text, this is actually video. So I thought it was video of her saying that he was betrayed by everybody.
Okay.
But I think it was actually just text messages. And so these are the text messages that we found.
Oh, it's tweets.
Tweets. Oh, sorry, not text messages. Yeah. Tweets. Thank you. See,
clarification.
This is why you need a second witness.
First here on CrossPolitic, we have text. Yeah. Oh, never mind. I'm just kidding. We don't have text.
Candace, we got him. We got on the text, Candace.
I feel so good.
So she says, don't worry about the gag order in the Charlie Kirk case. I plan to violate it on the world's behalf. The things I've discovered this past week are enough to burn the house down. Yes, Charlie was betrayed by everyone.
Trump?
She already insinuated that.
She already mentioned
JD
Trump.
Vance?
And so then everybody else started speculating right along. So when you say everyone, you mean like his team, TPUSA?
TPUSA?
You mean his wife? You mean Rob McCoy? You mean Frank Turek? You think are you saying so? All of a sudden, the speculation. This is what you talked about earlier. All of a sudden, fire's burning everywhere.
That's right. She's just dropping logs on the fire
everywhere.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so, but I started to think about this, and I was thinking to myself, wait a second. There has to be some things, if you want to guard like Charlie Kirk's name for a moment here, there has to be some things you have to assume about Charlie that had to be pretty bad. Like he was a horrible judge of character.
Right.
Yeah.
His wife, his team.
He wasn't a very smart guy here putting the team together.
Right.
And I get that you might have some people here that you got to get around and move around, but Charlie was a political brilliant genius.
So true, Knox.
He knows how to move people around that don't need to be close to him. He knows how to operate. He knows how to be bold. And so he was figuring things out. And I don't think that he would have had a whole bunch of vipers just right up on him. His assistant producer, his right-hand guy, his chief of staff, and all these people.
Which she is, so fundamentally in all these accusations, she is accusing Charlie
right,
of being the kind of, I guess best case scenario, fool.
Yeah.
Right.
Like fooled by all these people.
Yeah.
That's what you have to assume in that process.
Right.
And it's just like.
And the fact that she's doing all this in the name of, I'm Charlie's friend. I'm his only friend.
I'm willing to believe when the evidence comes out, 2 or 3 witnesses, and that's proven. But until then, all these people are innocent as far as I'm concerned.
Right. And the thing I just want to underline here is just like Candace, the earlier Candace said about what happened with
Me Too.
Emmett Till, what happened with the Me Too movement, what happened in the Kavanaugh.
Yep.
Remember that Duke lacrosse team?
Yep.
I mean, there was numerous
football punters that went through it.
Yes, numerous situations where people had their lives ruined. Not to mention Emmett Till.
Right. Yeah.
Lives taken.
Yeah.
Because of just reckless.
I don't think
accusations.
What's the Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh? I don't think his name's never been restored. It's just the asterisk right next to his name, which is absolutely wrong.
Yeah. All right. I got to read this NSA ad now, and then I want to hear from a security lead. In an age where lies dominate the public square, the need for virtue has never been greater. In a culture captivated by destruction and death, the world longs for builders and fighters, those anchored in truth, devoted to liberty, and committed to fruitfulness. New St. Andrews College rises to meet that need, preparing leaders who will faithfully shape culture under the lordship of Jesus Christ. New St. Andrews College offers an excellent undergraduate education in the liberal arts, firmly rooted in a Christian and Reformed perspective. Its mission is to equip students for lives of faithful service to the triune God and his kingdom, equipping them to use their gifts to cultivate and advance Christian culture. The college doesn't exist to merely hand out degrees, but to establish exceptional leaders who can wield the axe of St. Boniface to destroy idols while harnessing the wisdom of great historical thinkers to build edifices of masterful brilliance that shape the world. The call is clear. We want a generation prepared to stand firm, build wisely, and live faithfully. Applications are now open at nsa.edu/apply.
So Brian Harpole is a guy that was Charlie's, I believe, main security guy, especially for that day.
He was his, I think, lead.
But I thought he had
guy.
2. I can't figure that part out, but yes.
He might have had event security guy.
I can't remember. But anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is because there's this whole time Candace was going on, and there hasn't been an alternative narrative. Nobody's really close has spoken up or said anything. And out of nowhere, this guy decides to get up and go to Sean Ryan's show.
Yeah.
And
and he got fired from the UVU event.
And I'll even say this, rightly so.
Yeah.
Your job is to keep somebody alive.
You had one job.
And you didn't.
It's like a pilot crashes a plane, you're done.
I don't want you flying for me anymore,
exactly.
at least.
Right.
And so, but the only reason that he has to come out, this is a horrible time for him. You got to think about this guy lost his person he's supposed to be protecting.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to have to figure out a new line of work.
Yep.
All sorts of different things are going on. And now he's being blamed for being in on the
Killing of Charlie Kirk.
Kirk. Like they were in on it, right? Everybody. They were all betrayed by everybody. Like, and there's been accusations about that. And so now, in the midst of this, he has to come out and start trying to throw some cover fire for himself.
Right.
And so this is him,
And just remember, again, I want to keep underlining Candace's own words. You have to be careful with your words.
Yeah.
Because people's lives and reputations
That's right.
are on the line. And here it is.
I've got a team here that are done. And if you had opened that up, at least a little bit, 6, 8, 9 weeks ago, these guys wouldn't have been suffered. We've been doxxed. Our credit cards have been stolen. Our children's and parents' names have been released online. Wedding plans, home addresses, phone numbers.
Oof.
It's like, throw us a bone.
Yeah.
Don't let us sit out here and suffer for you when all you got to do is produce something to quench the thirst of these people.
And these people, I'm sure he's talking about Candace Owens and whoever else.
Yeah.
But
and he's particularly also referencing the videotape. There's some videotape that hasn't been released
and
yet.
he's talking about the FBI in this
That's
case.
right. And he's just like, just give a little video.
Throw us some cover.
To help us. Don't release it all because he also got a jury coming up, a trial coming up. But
He's like, these people aren't following Proverbs 26. We are out here desperate. Could you throw us a bone?
Yeah.
And the reason that he has to do this is because of the threat of his good name is, you follow the biblical standards of justice. He doesn't have to do this.
Right.
Right. And so, this is the thing. Watching this interview, there was, especially at this time, there was two different tones going on. One was kind of this frantic Candace, I'm going to get some attention, that was very effeminate.
I'm going to keep speculating. And then out of nowhere, Brian comes in and does this show with Sean Ryan, and it was refreshing hearing two men have a conversation.
Yeah.
Let me just say, men, right? Like, because sometimes you can have a man, but he actually act like a dude. And the dude, it was settling because there were real questions that he had too. Yeah. It wasn't just like, oh, okay, we weren't in on it, and and nothing happened that was suspicious. No, he had real questions about the shooter.
No, it was,
and the subsequent events.
And notice, so like real justice, we just said a minute ago, like, he deserves to lose his job. Like,
absolutely.
So this is not like saying he didn't do anything wrong or he didn't fail in any ways. But he's also wanting to defend his name in terms of justice. This happens in numerous times where sometimes you have somebody who really has failed in one way.
Yeah, they're guilty of something.
But they're not guilty of everything. They haven't failed in every way. And it's unjust. You don't get to say, because you failed in that way,
therefore you're guilty
I
of
get
all
to
of it.
smear you with everything. No, that's not justice. That's not biblical justice at all. And so when you told me about this interview, we were talking early on, maybe we called this show, the Candace Owens Longhouse.
Right.
Because to the extent, particularly, that a lot of Christians and a lot of men in our culture are just getting dragged behind Candace's emotional speculation.
Yeah.
I know, we know,
you can just feel it.
You can just feel it. He came to me in a dream.
It's so charismatic. You know how much money I lost off a pastor saying stuff like that?
I don't want to know.
It's a lot. Yeah, so Brian on the show asked questions even that he wanted answers to, which I thought were valid questions about the shooter's phone.
And you're right. You're creating distrust.
Yeah.
And you're hiding behind, well, we have to ensure that we don't taint a jury for this guy. And I have questions about that too. And so I have questions about that. And we talked about that earlier. Where's his call logs?
Yep.
His phone hits. Who'd he talk to 2 days, 4 days, 8 days beforehand?
The shooter. He's referring to the shooter. Yeah.
So again, in all of this, don't misunderstand what we're saying. We're not saying you can't ask questions.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's a question you could actually go get an answer to.
Right.
That's a reasonable question. You can actually go to, it's not just speculating emotionally. I know that there's some conspiracy.
You probably will have an answer to soon.
Ask a question.
Well, remember when the whole Idaho killer thing happened?
Yeah.
Brian Kohlberg.
Yeah. So I remember how crazy it was within that first month and the information that was flying everywhere.
Oh, man.
there was
even 2 days after.
Yeah, and the stories of what happened, and I saw him, and I knew something was going on. Like all the it was everywhere, and then
our own mayor came out like a day after and said it was a love triangle problem or something like that.
Exactly. That's my whole point. There's a point where time it's going to happen, and you don't get everything in the time frame that you want.
Right.
But you can rest assured that it's going to happen. It's going to come. And so, like, some of the questions he's asking like that is like, okay, some of that might take time because it's probably evidence for the prosecuting attorney, but expect that they were going to get that.
Sean, Ryan also asks him, what about covering, the roofs? I mean, what happened there? And
everybody was wondering.
And so this is where Brian Harpole actually provides text messages.
On Monday before, this correspondence went to Chief Long. Hello, Chief Long. We received this message today from the student group. There is a student roof access pretty close to where CK will be set up at the Utah Valley. The Sorensen Center has a couple of staircases that go up to walkways on the roofs. He comes back, and for edification, the Sorensen Center was the building in front of the Lucy Center. And so he comes back and he says, you want access to the roof. And came back and said, I was told students have access above us. If this is true, it would be nice to either have it controlled access or allow one of my guys to be there as well, if possible. He comes back, and his last correspondence was, I got you covered.
That was the chief of police on campus saying, I got you covered.
What else am I to do? When a command level person from an accredited police department says, I've got this area.
Yeah.
I saw Candace's response to this and actually agree with her here. Like, well, you actually followed through. I work in film and production, and I can't tell you how many text messages. First, let me say this. Let me sympathize with this man for a moment, because he's probably saved more lives than I could probably ever imagine. Right? I don't think that he's nefarious. I don't think that it was in on anything. I don't know that for sure, but
Brian Harpole.
Yep. Right. And so it seems like if he's showing text messages, it seems like a vote of good faith. And so I'm quarterbacking on Monday, which is a horrible place to be in. I'm not a guy in the game. I don't have any skin in the game. I'm judging from on the sidelines. Right. So let me just say that first. I think that has to be taken into consideration for what I'm about to say. That was a bad move. And
what was a bad move?
Not following through on that text.
Double checking.
And double checking, triple checking, because that's part of what you get paid for. As a director and as a person who works on film sets and putting out schedules and communicating to people what I expect them to do and being very clear, I've had them say, especially with either or text, it's like, got it. What did you get?
This or this.
Right. Am our man going to be there, or are your man going to be there? Right. And I get it. You can read, well, I got you covered. Well, got me covered means what? Like, that would have been the follow-up that I think you would want to see. Yeah. So you're going to have guys there. Which one is it? You're going to have it confirmed. You're going to have your guys there, or my guy's going to be there. Since you got it covered, which one are we doing? Like, and I think that's one of the areas was like, right? Like,
but that's a mistake.
But that's a mistake. Exactly.
Not a conspiracy.
That's my whole point.
Yeah, right.
Like, and anybody who's willing to show this kind of mistake, this vulnerability mistake, I kind of want to take this in good faith, because that's not good. Exactly. This doesn't make him look good to me.
Yeah.
Right. This doesn't,
but it also doesn't. It means it was an honest mistake.
Yes.
Not some kind of monstrous move.
Yes, and doesn't make me say I should ever hire you to protect my life.
Yeah. No,
right. Like this, you might be done in this industry.
He needs to find a new line of work.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And so
like a chef.
And so. And this is one of the things that he's saying, I think they asked him, hey, can we show these text messages? He's like, yeah, go get a Freedom of Information Act. Yeah. Right? Play the clip.
Would it be okay if we put that screenshot of that text up for everybody to see?
Absolutely.
So they know it's real?
Yeah, absolutely. And do a FOIA for his phone.
That's a good idea.
Do a FOIA.
Imagine
for
that.
His phone and have those records put out so everybody can see them. Do a FOIA for the communications for days leading up to it. Do it. And the truth's like a lion. You set it free, and it'll fight for itself.
There's a discrete question
that
you can get an answer to, and this guy is telling you how to get the answer. Get your Freedom of Information Act, and get them released.
There was
and notice that he's also saying, do it for all our phones.
Yeah. I do want to give credit. So Candace says that the text message that he has wasn't him. He didn't send it. Somebody else sent it, and he's lying about that. And, whatever the case is on that, I don't know that. But he's still asking for, one, the Freedom of Information Act.
Which would reveal that.
And I don't have to take it that he's lying. I could take it that he's actually a man who understands how responsibility works.
Sure.
Right? These were my guys. This was my setup. This was my people. And I told this guy to check on that. Yeah. Right?
Sure.
And he did like I do with my kids. Dad said do this. Right? And then when I come there and I say, didn't I tell you to?
Yeah.
I sent the word.
Right.
It wasn't me,
Yeah.
but it was and that's enough for me to take responsibility for that. And so I don't see that as a negative thing either. I say, okay, the man's taking responsibility for his own failures in this.
Sure.
Right? So
But regardless, a FOIA would reveal all of that anyways.
Another fair question was like that I saw too was like they did this construction work right there where Charlie Kirk was shot.
Yeah, within days.
Within days.
Right.
It's like, what do you make of that? And you can make all sorts of speculation about it, but he offers a great answer on this.
Why do you think that they tore up and paved over the crime scene so quickly?
I have had and asked that at least 10 times. And I said, I don't understand the exigency of why they did that. And here's my question to that. March your ass up to the school. Have you marched your ass up to the school, or will you march your ass up to that school tomorrow and file a FOIA and say, hey, you're a public institution. I want the request and the plans that were made to tear that up and when those requests and plans happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're not going to request that, or you shouldn't request that overnight and have that done. That had to probably go through a budget request, had to be approved. There should be a timeline and paperwork for that. Mm-hmm. You should be able to get that through FOIA. And so do it. Make them tell us why that they tore that up before it was even cold. I want to know. Because it came back on us.
That doesn't make me feel like that's the guy who's telling you how to find all the answers. He's definitely in on it.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Like those are real questions that I think everybody's kind of like a little concerned about.
But
he
notice,
said the construction stuff fell on him.
Yeah.
Right.
So whatever
charges
or information that was being spoken about the security guy, somehow even the construction thing became his fault.
Right. And and again, it's like I really appreciate the fact that he's like, march yourself up there, and ask the questions. But that's different.
Yeah,
that's totally different than oh, look what this happened. That probably means this, and probably means that, and that means this, and that means the other thing.
I had a dream about it, actually.
Right. But it's like, go get an answer to your question.
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Just notice all the things that these guys did really well. And there's a bunch more in that interview.
Sean Ryan did a great job.
Really good conversations, but one question at a time.
Yeah, that's right.
And
working through it, because that's one thing that
close the loop.
That's right.
Finish the question.
Right.
I mean, you can have multiple questions, but you should be going public with all these speculations. You need to ask a question and then find out the answer.
Well, just that one question alone on why they did the construction, I was thinking about it. If you do have a list of people who had to approve it, can I talk to why this was approved? Why did you? That could take you a whole 6 months by itself.
UVU did do a press conference and addressed it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and they just said basically they decided they didn't want it to become a scene where it was either just weirdness on campus or people gathering there or just it being strange, and they wanted to
memorials.
They wanted a new chapter.
Yeah.
And they didn't want there to be literally.
Well, imagine
there were bloodstains.
Walking by for weeks with bloodstains or
they wanted to move on.
Weird aura of this area.
That was the answer. That was basically the answer they gave.
Liars.
I could buy that. I could buy that.
I
could buy that.
Hey.
Sorry, the spirit of Candace came over me.
Brother,
I didn't know how to.
Brother. But underline here. Real journalism doesn't have to sit on its hands. Real journalism doesn't have to ignore real corruption or real conspiracies. Real journalism follows biblical principles and goes I think the one of the clapbacks, whatever, accusations. If you say, Candace is, she's gone crazy. She's acting in an unbiblical way. She's being unjust. She's not doing good journalism. The comeback is, so you trust the deep state.
Well, she does to some extent. she sent her whole assassination attempt to the FBI and wants them to do something.
Right.
Right. So but
anyway,
I'm sorry.
But the answer that I was going to give is no.
Yeah.
I don't trust the deep state.
Yeah.
Do I think there's corruption in our country?
That's why I appreciate journalists.
Of course I think there's corruption in our country. There's corruption in the church. There's corruption in our country. Is there corruption with the deep state in Israel? Yes, no doubt. Is there corruption in France? Sure, of course, I assume. I mean, so
definitely in France. I mean, I saw the Olympics. That's corruption. I saw the Olympics. Lots of corruption.
Macron's wife?
Psalm 2 says, "Why do the nations rage and plot vain things against God and against his anointed, saying, we will cast his bonds asunder. Like he will not reign over us." The Bible says that non-Christians have a deep conspiracy in their heart to overthrow Christ and his government. Like there's a deep conspiracy in their heart that hates God, hates his ways, and hates the truth. So of course there are conspiracies. Of course there are. But that doesn't give us the right to then begin wildly speculating and burn the house down. No. You don't get to burn the house down. You don't get to do that. Just maybe like slight side note here, but like this applies. There's principles of just war. Yeah. Also, right. Which is incidentally why I'm really excited about our Fight Laugh Feast conference this coming year. It's on just war, the Crusades, and the Christian life. Yeah. And it's called Holy War. We're going to be back in Nashville, and because I want to talk about the principles of just war. Because just because someone is declared war on you doesn't mean you get to just go nuking everybody. Right. Just because there's bad guys on the other, it's the same principle, just in a different place. Yeah. Journalism, even though you know there's bad guys, you're still constrained by the law of God. That's right. By biblical principles of justice. In a war, yes. Is there real killing? Yes. Are there real bombing? Yes. But there's principles of, you're only to fight other combatants. You're to protect as much as you can the lives of non-combatants. There are other principles that go into that, but again, it's all connected. I was going to bring up Meg Basham.
She's done great work and a great model of good journalism.
If you have not read Shepherds for Sale, fantastic work. You need to, and you need to read it, even if it's not even for the specific things, but just for the journalism. Yes, right. And notice what she does. I mean, the footnotes are out the wazoo. Yeah. Yes. There's receipts. The receipts. Here, it's this email. It's this public record. Yeah. It's this. Here, and she's tracing corruption. Yep. Absolutely tracing corruption. The way that money has screwed up the evangelical world. Yep. The way that politics has screwed up the evangelical world.
What was so amazing, and this is what true journalism does, and I've seen this before, especially with the dossier and other things like that too, that they tried to do against Trump. One of the things that was shocking about that, that the information is so out there that it's like, how come I didn't see it? When I was reading Meg Basham and going through her book, it was like, wait, all this was just out there? Yeah. Like, it was just available. And we're like, this is right in front of our face. It's so obvious, right? And so it just, again, it's overwhelming information that the innocent presumption is starting to say, nah, brother, we got receipts.
The dossier thing is insane. I didn't even think about that. But they printed a news story. Yes. And then they took the news story.
And then Yahoo News picked it up.
And they take it to the judge in order to get the what is it?
The access to be able to spy on Trump and his administration.
It's like you guys, this is where this kind of journalism gets us. Yeah. It gets us to this.
Right. That's right.
I was thinking of our friend Steve Baker as well. Steve Baker's been doing some amazing work on the January 6th stuff.
And what's interesting there is Kash Patel just apparently arrested one of the pipe bomb suspect today.
Yes, I saw that.
Probably as a result
it was a result of Kash Patel and probably a result of Steve pushing. Yeah. But Kash Patel and Steve Baker's not story, but their conclusions don't match up with each other.
Okay, so interesting. So
Steve
different
thinks
narratives.
It's this guy, but even Steve is just asking questions, and he's saying, "Hey, I found this video. I had to work hard to get this video." Steve's not even trying to make some sort of ultimate accusation and everything. He's just saying, hey, I have a question here. I have a question here. This lady was here the night before.
He sat down with Thomas Massey.
Thomas Massey. Great interview. I mean, it was an hour and a half interview. I'd go through it.
But again,
he's not causing drama.
No, that's the thing. Yeah. There's the mascriminality point.
I got to go coach my son. So you guys got to finish up.
Okay, all right. But you have him making this. There's just one question at a time.
Yep, that was going to say that.
There's two men, working through it reasonably, and they're
not emotional.
And again, it's questions that you can probably get answers to. It's not just speculation. It's not just speculation on top of speculation. It's it's like, okay, he's got a video footage, and he's like, look at the security guards. Look,
who are these
there's
people?
The pipe bomb. And then they actually interviewed one of the security guards, about it. And they're like, so, after you found 2 pipe bombs, did you go around looking for any others? And they were like, no.
Yeah, we don't know why we would. It's like,
why didn't you clear the area? Oh, well, we did. Anyways, these are just quite, again, real journalism asks discrete questions, and real journalism is not playing footsie with the deep state. Real journalism isn't playing footsie with corruption.
Yeah.
No, real journalism asks real questions, hard-hitting questions, and seeks to uncover real corruption. And these are examples of that.
Yeah, so one of the things I wanted to hit is before we go was the idea of the assassination attempt on Candace Owens.
Or threat.
Or threat of it.
Yeah.
So she came out on, do you want to read it?
Yeah, sure. So this is, what day is this? This is November 21st. November 21st, she writes this on X, I assume. Urgent! 2 days ago, I was contacted by a high-ranking employee of the French government. After determining this person's position and proximity to the French couple, I have deemed the information they gave me to be credible enough to share publicly in the event that something happens. In short, this person claims that the Macrons have executed upon and paid for my assassination.
Wow.
Okay, just underline that. Yes, you read that correctly. More specifically, that the green light was given to a small team in National Gendarmerie Intervention Group. I am told there is one Israeli that is in on this assassination squad, and the plans were formalized. Again, this person provided concrete proof that they are well placed within the French government apparatus. Further to this point, this person claims that Charlie Kirk's assassin trained with the French Legion 13th Brigade with multi-state involvement, presumably multi-international states.
Yeah.
Journalist Javier Poussard's life is also at risk. This is deadly serious. The head of state of France apparently wants us both dead and has authorized professional units to carry this out. I ask that every person retweet and share this. I do not know who in the American government can be trusted since this source claims our leaders are aware. But I have more specific information which is definitely verifiable should they care to reach out to me. To the brave official in France who did this because they were so moved by the evil of Charlie's public execution to risk their own life, may God bless you. Truly, let all be revealed.
So this is what you were talking about earlier about false witnesses and stuff like that. But I think you have to take this seriously.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where you make, okay, so I'm going to take this back to the Me Too movement.
I want to do that too.
Yeah, because one of the things that happened in the Me Too movement is that women were able to make false accusations.
On X,
or, wherever.
Facebook, whatever.
Yeah. They're making an accusation. And before we knew it was true or false yet, it was already been treated as true, and then the process started happening. Yeah. But if there was a moment in time where people said, "Oh, okay, it doesn't seem like this is real," and then this just went away. There was a few of those, not a lot.
Sure.
But what didn't happen was that as soon as you make the accusation, you can't
serious accusation.
Yes, I would say any accusation in this case. If you say you're a liar, at that point you've started some sort of court case with me and you.
Sure.
You're going to apologize, right? Or you're going to prove that I'm lying,
right.
But we're not going back from that moment. We can't take that back. There's no take backs on this. Mm-hmm. So once you start that process, you are beginning a process where judgment has to take place one way or another because something needs to be restored. Mm-hmm. You saying that has already potentially tarnished my character.
Right.
So you have to put it back.
Right.
And so you can't take it back. And so now we have to get to the bottom of it.
Right.
So if you're the federal government, and someone like Candace Owens, who is higher up, I mean, if there's been conversation that she's gotten text messages that she shouldn't be having, but she's got them, so it could have come from the FBI.
Right.
She said that, she didn't file a regular complaint and go through the normal process with this because she got it to someone higher up's desk. So she's connected. She's got messages and people who have leaked to her that she's saying that are not the real text messages from Tyler, right? So she's got enough contacts and has caused enough trouble that supposedly the French prime minister is talking to Trump, trying to get him to have her to shut up. So she's a contender.
Right.
So then if somebody like that says it, then you have to take this as a serious accusation.
Absolutely.
So that you can pass real judgment on it.
Right.
And so I think the federal government has to say, okay, what is your evidence of this? Because what you've just done is you said either we're going to go to war with France or give them a few spankings with some bombing, or you're going to suffer the penalty of what a war does. You're going to face the death penalty after having a speedy court case. Right?
Yeah.
Of course. But that's the two options.
Right. Yeah. No, I was gonna say. So you're right. I think on any accusation, something has been started.
Yes.
But the thing that I would underline is as soon as an accusation that's a crime
has
been started, then I think going back to Me Too again, I was thinking is, you know, what should have happened is as soon as someone went public and said so and so touched me the wrong way, or somebody, you know, was whatever, mistreated me, rape, sexual molestation, whatever, the first thing somebody ought to say is, let's go down to the cops right this minute.
Right now. Yep.
And I bet you that a whole bunch of those, it would have parted. And some of them would have been said, okay, let's go.
Right.
Because real stuff happened. There were real crimes that were committed, and it needed to be adjudicated by the ministers that God has established to adjudicate crimes. But a whole bunch of the other ones would have been like, well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it was dark and I can't remember all the details. Or they might have gone down and talked, and the police say, we don't have any information. There's no details here. There's no evidence. There's, your story doesn't line up, whatever. But then there ought to have been penalties for people. Same thing here. And this is much higher stakes.
Yes, much higher stakes.
We talked earlier about, again, Candace herself, in her own words, says, when you allow people to just make accusations, it turns into witch hunts. When you allow people to just go off emotions and feels and all these things, and I know, but I don't know, this kind of stuff, my gut, my dreams, that harms people. And all the way to Emmett Till, right? And we saw, again, Brett Kavanaugh's hearings, all these other situations. And we're in the same kind of moment. And not only are we talking, I mean, she said everybody's in on it.
Yes.
Everybody betrayed him. Trump, TPUSA, people inside. And now it's raised up all the way to France and Israel and the Fed, whatever. It's like, okay, I agree with you completely. This is one of those things where I think it would be super helpful for Kash Patel or one of these guys at the top be like, we're going to look into it.
Because you know what I didn't like? I didn't like the idea where we'd be like, oh, she's lying. I didn't like, this is fake. No. It's like, wait a second. So I really do try not to play a cry wolf game.
Yeah, no.
So but I tell my kids, once you get me involved, let me tell you what the punishment for this is going to be for somebody. If I got to get involved in this, and when you bring up to that level, we've gotten here.
Either France needs to feel the heat of something like this, or Candace has to.
Right.
You can't make accusations like this.
Yes,
and then
they'll not be dealt with,
and then it just sort of fade away, and everybody just shrugs and we're like, we don't really know. No, like you're trying, like either a foreign country
is trying to kill one of us,
trying to plot and kill one of our American citizens, and that needs to be stopped.
Yeah,
or Candace Owens is trying to stir up war with this foreign nation.
That's the two options,
right? And it's Anyways.
And so that needs to be dealt with. Yeah. And so that's what's like, okay, when you have biblical justice, though, then you don't just run around saying, oh, it's a lie. Yeah. No, we're going to deal with it.
Right.
We'll find out if it's a lie or not. Yeah. Right. But it also stops people from doing silly things. I was telling somebody too, like if you lie to a roach, nothing much is going to happen to you. You lie to your friend, he might punch you in the mouth.
Yeah.
You lie to your mom and dad, you're going to get a spanking.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's the degree and level.
You lie to a police officer?
Right. You get arrested.
You lie in court?
Right. Exactly.
You lie in church?
Yep. Exactly.
Right.
So it goes up levels depending. You same lie depending on the degree in which it is, it has different judgments.
Exactly. That, again, it's like the more public you go with your words, the higher the standard, the higher the stakes.
Yeah.
Words are powerful, and that's why journalism matters. We need to recover biblical Christian journalism that loves the truth and hates all lies.
Because we cannot have false prophets among us. There's a judgment for false prophets, for people prophesying or bringing out false lies and things. Which brings me up to this last clip.
Oh, no.
So this was a story which Charlie said, this is not the thing that's coming, but this is a preview of the thing that's coming. Missiles, false flag attacks, chemicals, and the Middle East, America, France, and Israel. It is something. It is something, right? This was the vibe of something that Charlie felt was going to happen in the future. Something Charlie and I used to always say, I told you that, the rest is future. I think we are in the rest right now. We are approaching that future right now. And I didn't feel it then in 2018, but I feel it now. I've been telling you guys, I have been having a lot of dreams. And the dread that Charlie felt in 2018, I have been feeling. I felt it leading up to Charlie's assassination. I pulled my children out of school. I was having this dreams and visions about bees and organization that was happening in America. I have a sense of dread that a lot of these events that are happening, these inexplicable events like the Malibu fires, these sort of coastal events, the Texas floods, that this is not happening by accident, okay? I have a feeling of a sense of dread that the Fed is taking from Americans right now, and that we are heading toward war, okay? I'm gonna share that. I feel that we are headed toward war, that they want war by any means necessary, and that you need to be, wherever you are in the world, fully dialed into that, okay? We can't be stupid this time. We cannot believe what the media is telling us. We cannot believe what the government are telling us. We cannot believe whatever it is, whatever attack that's going to happen, and we're gonna be told that it was this guy. We have to start to recognize the pattern of things, okay? The predictive model of this is my red line, then the red line gets crossed and people are denying it. And what happens? Christians are mass slaughtered every single time, propagandized people, Christians in the East to hate Christians in the West. And there's just less of us by the end of it. And these things tend to happen, world wars, when they want a reset because people start waking up. And so I just wanted to express that to you, that I feel that we are reaching that brink right now. And you need to prepare for that. And feels like an almost inevitability because wars are planned in boardrooms, okay? In boardrooms. You're gonna send you and your children and your sons, but they are not going to fight. And I don't love a scenario right now that's happening where we have envoys being sent to Russia and Israel and everybody's meeting all of this. It feels like something's coming. And I know that you probably sense that dread too.
Do you feel that in your gut?
What I feel is too many beans. I don't know what that, I mean, this is the kind of talk that I ran from in the charismatic church.
Yeah.
This is the kind of things that I lost money over from giving to pastors. Make sure God's going to bless whoever believes what I just prophesied.
Oh, no.
If they can give $100 to the ministry.
Oh,
to yeah, I mean, this is the same sort of thing. That's what, when I was listening to this, it struck me of all the things that I ran from in the charismatic church.
Yeah.
Because what it did for us, those lies hindered generational growth. People made decisions off of whether or not the end times were coming and whether or not they were going to.
So much like end times.
Right, exactly.
The wars are coming.
The wars are coming. And so like, do we buy and go move into the city and like take this job, or do we not even get married because we don't know if we're going to get raptured out here before the war or after the war?
Right.
And so many, a whole generation of people that I knew, 2 generations, whole lives were made off of people's false prophecy were destroyed.
Right.
Marriages destroyed. People trying to live bunkering up and buying ammo. And my dad, when he died, he was living on the top of a mountain expecting for the end times to come and for the war to break out. And he had tons of ammo and food stocked up. It took him 3 days to get all the food out of his house when he died.
Oh, man.
You know, and so like you can destroy people's whole lives because of this.
Right.
And without just because you feel it.
Right. Right. And I'm guessing there's a lot of people out there be like, yeah, I know she says stuff like that. That's crazy. But she's pointed out some really good points. She's made some really good points. And you know what I want to say? The devil made some good points. Okay? I mean, like seriously.
Yeah.
And I'm not equating her with the devil, but I'm just.
Yeah, you did.
I'm just saying. Well, one time Jesus told Peter to get behind him, Satan.
Right, yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, I mean, the devil quoted scripture.
Right.
The devil said true things to Eve in the garden. Right? Like, I mean, your eyes will be opened. They were opened, right? But the thing that God tells us in his word is that once somebody has, they've perjured themselves, once they've gone false prophet, once they're going in this direction and it's demonstrated that they really don't love the truth, they're not protecting the truth, they are not a trusted source.
Right.
It doesn't.
That's what I was going to say.
It doesn't. I want to be careful. I doesn't mean that they're the worst villain ever.
Right.
I'm not.
Right.
I'm not. Even though I used the devil and Satan here, I do want.
These are weird times.
I do want to be very careful because I know someone's going to clip this and be like, Toby called Candace the devil.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying that when you have discredited yourself as a trusted source, you don't look to that person then to see if they make some good connections.
Right.
That's just foolish. That's foolhardy. No, when someone has beclowned themselves and demonstrates that they do not have a high standard, a high biblical standard of truth and journalism and so forth, then Christians may not go to them as a trusted source.
Yeah. That's part of what I was saying. Let's say, for instance, that Candace, like you were just saying, these people are going to go and say, like, but what about some of the right stuff she said? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you muddy up the water so much that I can't see the scene clearly, then you're not helping me if you are trying to tell me the truth.
That's
something.
Right. That's right.
If you don't follow the biblical models and the biblical standards in order to make things clear, so that I can see them and make sense of them and then operate that way, because you're the person in a lot of ways. People like Candace are folks who are on the wall. Journalists are people who are on the wall. They tell us things that we don't see. They investigate things that we don't have interest in because we're raising our families and loving our kids.
Right.
And when you pull on my shoulder to say you need to look at this because it matters on what you're doing with your day-to-day life. And so I'm making adjustments on my day-to-day life off of the stories that you tell me that I need to pay attention to. Right. It's not an algorithm out here, people. These are real people's lives that are at stake.
That's right.
And so, like, if she's right, then my plea would be go back to the standards that you used to have when you were doing stuff in 2017 and the Me Too
careful
movement,
journalism
so that people can see and hear the clear sound of the trumpet.
Right.
So they know to go to battle.
But the problem is that the way she's handling this right now is there's no reason why people shouldn't also be listening to Paula White.
Right.
There's no reason.
Right. Exactly.
There's no reason why they shouldn't be going to all these charismatic preachers and Pentecostal preachers and so on and getting their anointing and all the rest of it. Why not?
Yeah. They heard a word from the Lord too.
Right, because she's heard a word. She's seen dreams.
Right.
She's had dreams. Charlie came and talked to her in a dream.
Right.
Well, okay, if that's true, okay, then we need to take that seriously. But if she's lying, right? I mean,
judgment of false prophets.
That's right.
If you're single, get married. If you're married, have you some kids. If you have kids, go baptize them. Until tomorrow or next week or next time. Love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. This is CrossPolitic.